So when we see, for example, that the kufr of Abu Jahl and Abu Lahab, that is from Allah's irada kawniyya, in that Allah willed it to occur and decreed for it to occur, and so it occurred. But it is not from Allah's irada shar'iyya. Right? So things which are disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we see that there is a departure between Allah's irada kawniyya and Allah's irada shar'iyya. Because Allah in His irada shar'iyya wants Abu Jahl to be, wanted Abu Jahl to be a believer, and Abu Lahab to be a believer, and a kafir to be a believer. Okay? But as it relates to, for example, Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, when he became a believer, then there is agreement between Allah's irada kawniyya and so in other words, the two types of irada come together. So Allah's irada kawniyya, Allah willed it to occur that Abu Bakr become a believer, and this is also something that Allah requested shar'an, meaning from the point of view of His legislation, from the point of view of what He requested from His believing slaves. So those two things come together. So basically, in every single good deed of a believer, Allah's irada shar'iyya and Allah's irada kawniyya, they come together. They come together. But as for everything which is disobedience and disbelief and shirk and so on and so forth, then the two separate. So even though Allah wanted it and desired it from the point of view of the shar, from the point of view of the legislation which He sent to His creation, that He never actually, even though He requested it, He never willed it to occur. Meaning He never willed it that a person abandon disbelief or become a believer or abandon disbelief and so on and so forth. So yes, that's the easy way to remember that in every deed of goodness, the two come together, and in every deed of disobedience, then the two separate. The two separate. Any other questions? All clear? Test you on it then, yeah? Okay. So, unless, what are the two types of irada then? Okay, what is each one? Yeah. Rather, Sharia is what Allah requests from the servants. He wants the servants to abide by. This is Allah's irada shar'iyya. He wants everyone to follow the messengers and to worship Him on Tawheed and so forth. This is irada shar'iyya. Whether it actually takes place or not, that's Allah's irada kawniyya. Right? And in everything that Allah does, there is far-reaching wisdom and purpose. So as we saw in what Sheikh Saleh Al-Fawzan said, he said that Allah creates evil and creates good for a wisdom. And behind all of that is to test the people, put the people to trial, right? And to separate the evil from the good, and to reward the good, and to punish the evildoers. So all of this really is kind of tied together, really. You have to get the complete picture by tying all of these issues together. And it comes back down to Allah not creating the creation, without any purpose. Allah created for a wisdom, for a reason. And so He sent messengers and books which explain His irada shar'iyya, right, which explain to the servants what's required from them and what they ought to do and how they ought to behave and how they ought to worship Allah alone. This is what Allah wants from them. But from Allah's irada kawniyya, then, meaning in terms of what Allah wills to happen in the creation, then that in that there is perfect, complete wisdom, through which Allah, as we said, tests the people and separates the evil from the good, and and so on and so forth. So for that reason, not everyone is a believer. If Allah willed, everyone would have been a believer, but He never willed. And what's the reason for that? There's a far-reaching wisdom and a purpose behind that, which is what? Which is to raise the believers and to lower the disbelievers, and to reward the righteous and to punish the sinful, because that's the far-reaching wisdom behind Allah's creating the creation. So these affairs that take place amongst the creation of what we seem to be evil, what appears to be us to be evil, and Allah willing it to occur, like the disbelief of a disbeliever and the sin of a believer, all of that, there is a wisdom and a reason behind that, which all leads to, as we said, this great goal or this great objective, which is to test and to put the people to trial, and to put some into paradise and to put some into hellfire, and which Allah had already decreed when He took the souls of the son of Adam from Adam, and decreed a portion for the hellfire and decreed a portion for paradise. So
does Allah give full choice to disbelievers to become
yeah, everyone has full choice. No one feels compelled to do anything, right? And this we know, and this argument against al-qadr is really futile, and the best way to argue against people who make this claim is really to give two examples. And this is something that no one can really deny. The first example that you give is that if you had two routes or two journeys to arrive at a certain destination, and on the first route, if you went that way, you have highway robbers, there's no stops, it's long, it's windy, it's rocky, it's this and that, whatever, and that's one way you can choose. And the second way, if you chose the second route, you find that it's the shortest route, people are nice, there are stops on the way, there is this, and every person knows that he will be free to choose one or the other. These are choices that come to you every day in your life, and no one at any time feels that he has ever been forced to make a choice. Right? Everyone always chooses that which is going to be what they perceive to be good for them, what they perceive, and keep away from what they perceive to be evil from them. And so the idea of choice, everyone feels and knows that they have choice. No one can, not even a disbeliever, can deny that they have complete, perfect choice in what they choose and what they do. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if someone argued from the point of view of justice and oppression, then you could go to them and slap them in the face, put a rock through the windscreen, pour acid over the bonnet, burn their lawn, kill their dog. Not that I'm saying that you do that, but I'm just giving an example. And then you could do all sorts of oppression to them and say, Allah decreed for me to do that from Allah's qadr. I was compelled. So there's no notion of justice and oppression. Right? So you can't say nothing to me, you should just be happy with it. Right? And of course no one is going to really accept that line of reasoning. Not even a disbeliever is going to accept that line of reasoning. No one's going to accept that line of reasoning. Rather he will know that there is an idea of justice present, which everyone, because this idea of justice, al-adl, and a notion of oppression, is something that's from the fitrah. There are some things which are from the fitrah. From the fitrah is everybody knows that everything which is originated has an originator. Right? This is something that everyone's fitrah will immediately recognize. This is from the things that Allah has put within a soul and within the creation, in their fitrah. That everyone knows that if a glass fell on the floor, it didn't fall on the floor by itself. Now, and if a glass is found on the table, it didn't come there by itself. Someone put it there, right? So every originated thing has an originator. Also from the things is that every soul knows it has inherently the notion of justice and oppression, right? So if you just walked up to somebody on the street and just punched him in the face for no reason, then everyone who sees this because they still have aspects of the fitrah within them, they will know that this is injustice, this is wrong. That's why even the atheist, because you still see aspects of the fitrah coming through in an atheist even, right? He will know that that injustice is injustice. He will know that, right? But what we see with the atheist is that he tries to cover and bury that fitrah. Okay, so but even though sometimes that fitrah will come through and it will manifest itself in his behavior or in his speech. So even this idea of knowing something to be an injustice, then this is, as we said, in the fitrah of all people. And so when you use this argument against even a non-Muslim or an atheist about this idea of justice and that there has to be responsibility for people in the actions, it's something that they can't deny. So otherwise you give them that example that, if I slapped you and, did this and did that, the other, whatever, and damaged your property and whatever, then, there's there's no such thing as justice. So how can you hold me responsible? So you have no. So obviously that's what we call an argument from morality.
So from your choice, what is something that Allah willed happen?
Yeah. You chose to do the action, but you are within Allah's complete power and control and mashi'ah. Nothing you do, it comes outside of Allah's mashi'ah. But Allah, in willing you to do that thing, there is a perfect wisdom in Allah's action, in willing you to do. So in the atheist being an atheist, right? Even though the atheist has chosen to be an atheist, right? Even though the proof is established against him by way of his fitrah, and by way of the messengers and books being revealed, right? So the hujjah is established upon him, right? And he's chosen his path, right? So it's perfect wisdom and justice that he enter the fire. So he can't argue from the angle, right? And as we said, he can't argue against the idea of justice either, and oppression either, because inherently he knows the idea of justice and injustice is real and true. By way of the example that I've given to you, that if you slap him in the face, break his leg, kidnap his cat or whatever else you want to do, and tell him that you've got no right to invoke any idea of justice or injustice, right? Because this is hypocrisy on your behalf, right? Because where do you get your idea of justice from and injustice from? There is nothing, So he has to accept that there's an idea of justice and injustice, right? So that is, and so when it comes to Allah willing disbelief upon a person, or Allah willing sin upon a person, right? The person has complete choice to do that. A person is completely free to go and steal, to murder, to rape, to whatever, to perform his obligations, not perform his obligations. No one feels compelled to do anything, right? A person doesn't say when he, for example, enjoys his food, I was compelled to eat the food. He knows he desired and willed and wished to eat that food. He knows he chose and wanted to eat that food. So when it comes to the good things, he will readily accept that yes, I willed and I wished and I have a desire and I want to do it. So when it comes to good things, obviously now there is a will and a wish, and he knows that he's got the choice, and he feels and he knows he's got the choice to do that. When it comes to the evil he performs and creates, Allah forced me to do this. Allah wished to do this. Allah. So we can see the hypocrisy as well, that in this argument there's a lot of hypocrisy, and really people follow the desires, whether they are sinful Muslims or whether they are atheists and disbelievers who try to invoke this idea of justice and injustice. So basically what we say is that in every single thing that Allah does, like what Imam Tahawi said, وَلَا يَكُونُ إِلَّا مَا يُرِيد, that nothing occurs except what he wishes. So, and his wish, his irada is tied to his ilm and his hikmah, his knowledge and his wisdom. And so everything, the disbelief of an atheist, the shirk of a mushrik, the kufr of a kafir, the belief of a believer, the righteousness of a righteous believer, all of that, there is perfect wisdom in everything. And so everything, the fact that one will get punished and one will get rewarded, all of that is perfect wisdom, perfect justice, is from Allah's adl. And there is no dhulm, oppression in any of that whatsoever, in any of Allah's actions. But there is dhulm in the actions of the servants. Anyway, so inshallah, maybe we will expand upon these issues when we come to the issue of al-qadr a bit later on. So with that, we conclude today's lesson, inshallah, and we'll continue next week with the next few statements, inshallah ta'ala. sorry, not next week, in a fortnight from today, because I think next week there will be a lecture, inshallah ta'ala, a public lecture by our brother Abu Idris from Birmingham. And so that will be at around 5 o'clock, inshallah, next week at the same venue. So we encourage you to come and attend, inshallah, and bring your friends and family. And so, but the lesson will continue 2 weeks after that. With that, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.